One of the things I want to share with you all today is actually about interpersonal communication and barriers to that. I know we all talk to each other and things like that. We're talking to residents, but we're not always thinking about some of the things that can actually be barriers to that communication and people not being able to maybe understand what those are. And actually, statistics say that 75% of people involved in interpersonal communication have barriers that cause a breakdown in communication, leading to inaction. So if I'm talking to you about something I need done and there's a noise in the background or something's going on and you're not hearing what I'm saying, what needs to be done isn't being accomplished. So some of the barriers I want to share with you today are not, the first one is not being very clear about your topic. If you're kind of talking in circles and you're not really getting to the point of the discussion, and with some of our elderly residents here, we have that. They'll kind of talk in circles and we kind of have to try to figure out what it is. So when we're talking to them, we need to be very careful about what we're saying and be very clear so that they can understand. One is not understanding your audience. If I were to stand here and you are doing maintenance and I am discussing PTI&Rs and those rates and this and that, you're not really going to understand what I'm saying. But if I look at you and say, you know, that blood thinner level is off, then you're going to understand, because then I'm talking to the audience, I'm talking to the person in a manner in which they're going to understand. So that's another thing we need to think about. Jeff, when you come to me and you're talking about something with HVAC and this and that, and I'm kind of looking at you like a deer in the headlights, but you're always really good to come back to me and speak to me in a language that I understand. It's that thing that isn't working that's making that not be hot. Okay, I get it. I get it. And also, using an impolite tone, being kind of snippy. You know, it's like, well, don't you know what I'm talking about? Or something along those lines. We really need to make sure that we're using professional verbiage with each other, being polite and things like that, and with our residents also. Another thing is noisy environment. When you're trying to talk to someone, they may be hard of hearing. If there's a lot of background noise, they're not going to grasp what you're saying because they're not hearing it. So that's something you want to think about. And look at them face to face, eyes to eyes, and so they can read your lips along with that, but realizing that that noisy environment can be a detriment. Long chain of communication. How many times have you had, I will say something to Mark, and Mark will have to tell Jeff, and then Jeff will have to tell Brad, and it's not the same story. It's not the same conversation. You probably did it as a child where you'd whisper in someone's ear and then it would go around the room, and then at the end of it you would hear it was nothing to do with what it had been previously. So try to talk to who it is you need to speak to and not run it through the whole gamut of folks. And the last one I'm going to share with you all is anger. Is that you? You really need to try to keep your anger under control. I know sometimes it's hard. Maybe you need to just step away, walk away, something along those lines. But state your thoughts in a polite manner. Don't be aggressive. I mean, it's hard sometimes. We all get frustrated. But you really need to watch your tone of voice, because the person you're speaking to, if you're talking to them in an angry tone, they're shutting down, they're not listening, and that again is a barrier to communication. So I know this was kind of throwing a lot of information at you all pretty quickly, but those are some of the things that I'd like you all to think about when you are talking with others, that these are things that are going on. So thank you very much.